Hey, we're just doing a quick video on the IGV. Ran a quick scan. Wanted to dive in to some of these charts and power analyze them. So let's get into this here. We have the ADSK. Pretty big rally up, 13% over the past 14 trading bars. Let's let this settle down up in this area. Maybe pull back a little bit to this year to date, rally back up, set an inside day, and then maybe potentially push back up into that 330 area. So we could potentially look for something like this. We're trading underneath the 5-day moving average. So maybe potentially we could see a little bit further profit taking down into this area here at 298, which would coincide with this 296 area. So a little bit of shakeout. Look, we just mapped out on the daily. Pull back into here, undercut, start to catch back up, rally, consolidate, and maybe get going. And then we could see that 5-day moving average start to maybe get something like that. So that's ADSK. ASAN. Here we have this rallying into this previous VWAP high. Found some supply and shaking out towards this year-to-date VWAP low and year-to-date VWAP at the 20-day moving average and 50-day moving average. In 3 days, the data on the 20-day moving average will drop off. And if price is consolidating up here, that 20-day moving average will continue to rise. And potentially, instead of rallying from 1877 and rallying 17% into that VWAP, if we could open up in here tomorrow, $20, rally at 17%, it gives us a little bit more room to use that energy to break through that VWAP, maybe get some continuation, and then we could look to see that reclaim for this VWAP to become support. So ASAN, maybe we see something like this over the next day, pull back to this 2-day VWAP tomorrow at 2086, 2060 area, come back, get back above the 2-day and daily VWAP and break that 3-day and get us back into that 23 area. So that's a potential scenario for the ASAN. ACPN, we got this gap up. It's actually earnings tomorrow. So, let's take that off the list. BILL, Bill. We have these patterns of lower lows and lower highs mapped out here. And we had a V bottom reversal, trading back above the 20-day moving average, consolidation, and break above. So ideally, we'll look to see if this could settle down a little bit on this recent rally up 26% and 13 bars. So perhaps this bill needs to get a little bit more profit taking down into this 90 area, year-to-date VWAP, catch a bounce, settle down, and get going. So a little shakeout up in here. Let this all be support. This previous resistance area could then come up, fill up in this area. We'll sync that. And we'll see if price could get some support up in here in this 90 area. BL black line. We got this, again, recent push up, so we're not new to this. So perhaps we need to let this digest, pull back to the 50-day moving average. Data on the 20-day will continue to drop off. So maybe we get a potential further profit taking down into this 60 area. Let's slap a VWAP down here. Yeah, maybe up in here to this area. Retest that. And then start to get a bounce up in that area. Let the data on the 5-day roll over, rally up, and then we can start to look for some type of setup like this as it curls up and start to ride the trend. So that's BL. Box, again, same concept, 11 bars, 10% up, but it has been getting tighter over the past 5 bars, 6 bars. So that 3 bars, the past 1, 2, 3, 4 days, we're getting tighter. So we had this shakeout, rally up, shake out again up in here. So maybe this prior level of resistance wants to act as support here at this 2-day VWAP. So perhaps tomorrow we could trade up in here, get some profit taking, reclaim the 2 and 3-day VWAPs, and then get back in for this potential gap fill in this area. Up here at this 34.40 area. DLB, we have a recent rally above the 200-day moving average, a rally above a new high, above a flat to rising 200-day moving average. We broke that high and we traded into a new high over the past 200 days. And we could see the data on the 200-day moving average will start to decline. So we have a decent rally, almost about 20% and 13 bars, and we're pulling back. So we're pulling back. The year-to-date VWAP is the 61.8% retracement from this recent low. So perhaps we get a little bit profit taking down into this 81 area. Get a little bit more shake out to this 81. Come back, bounce, move sideways, and then could potentially get going to fill that gap and get some upside continuation. So just like this one from a potential trend alignment with the 200-day and the 50-day just getting aligned. We got DV next on the list. DV, same concept, just looking for a little bottoming pattern here with some trend alignment. 200-day moving average is the green line. This data will start to drop off to the price level of $17, 37% in the next 14 days. So if this can consolidate or rise, that 200-day moving average over the next 14 days will start to rise in this area. So maybe this wants to get back up, maybe for a potential gap fill into this 29 area. It just had a big rally today. So let's let this one settle down. Maybe pull back into this 20, 50 area. Get back above the daily 3-day VWAPs. And then maybe we could get some continuation. ESTC next on the list. We got the 200-day moving average here, green, trading above of a recent rally. Pulled back to it, acting as support now. Data rises before it goes down, so it may not be exactly ready, but something to keep our eye on and a potential play, maybe pulling back to this year-to-date VWAP. So the common theme in these is just a little bit of shakeout to the year-to-date, get back above these two, basically at that point, the week-to-date VWAP, and trade back above the daily VWAP. ESTC, something like that potentially. FTNT, we're looking for a play. Again, this has a recent rally of 14% over 13 days. So maybe this needs to digest a little bit. Let's get a little bit shakeout here, get that rally back up and get going. Although we did have this shakeout and it held on to its gains. So if we could gap up, maybe, or maybe even get a play like this tomorrow, gap up, shake down into the week-to-date VWAP, 2 and 3-day VWAPs, and then trade back above for this breakout. So that's something to keep our eyes on. GTLB, GitLab, big rally recently off this VWAP of this previous high that you could see here is a source of supply, failed. This started to become consolidation, rallied up, and now it's acting as support. So perhaps similar theme as before. Let's take a VWAP here and drop it at this low. So maybe this needs to shake out into this 20-day moving average area, build this up. We have a VP node right here that's pretty big at 66.43. So let's watch that level here. And that's GTLB. So just potential watch list idea. We have the hubs, this gap down, and it's at the year-to-date VWAP area. So we'll see if this could hold above this 20-day and 50-day moving average. This is already getting a shakeout. So maybe one more shakeout. This could be getting closer to it. Come back down into this 720 area, and then maybe get back above. Let's throw an anchor and see where we're at. So we just undercut that anchor. You can see that's right here. And we held that on the daily so far. So maybe a little bit undercut of these lows. Let this 5-day moving average start to break down a little bit. And we could look for something like that. IoT. So this is now freshly trading above the 50-day moving average, rising 20-day. Again, not early to the recent rally, 26% in 15 days, a little bit more. So let's let this digest the gains, pull back into this 47, 46.88 area, and then look for a potential rally. Let the dust settle, let it dance, and then let it break. Potential push back up into that 55, 57 area. And let's slap an anchor VWAP just to see where we're at here. So yeah, that would kind of come back down to this area, into this 45.98, 46 area. So look for something like that on IoT. And we got KVYO. And again, not new to the recent rally, but we have a nice big reversal here on today on this gap down. So maybe this wants to let it dance tomorrow, set it inside day, get back above the week-to-date VWAP at that point on Wednesday, and could potentially get some trend continuation. Maybe have a stop under this 44.03 up in this area right here. If this rallies up, gets back above, and if it quickly rally, could take some profits into here and move our stop up from here to up in this area. MSTR. Don't love this one. Just a potential setup. Looking at, we got this VWAP from this previous high as a source of supply. So we could see rallies up at there, has some failures, but we're getting above the 5-day moving average, and we could see if we could get a little maybe shakeout. And then towards the end of the day tomorrow, maybe we could trade that back into this a bit high VWAP. We're underneath the 50-day moving average, and the 50-day moving average will actually start and continue to decline tomorrow if we don't gap up and close basically above this 430 area. So we do have the 50-day moving average as a tailwind. The 20-day moving average starting to rise. So if we get above that, that 20-day moving average will continue to rise. And that's the setup for MSTR, MTTR. We're getting almost through this list. Let's bang this out. So big engulfing day here over the past, engulfing the past 8 bars and some actually, if you really think about it, engulfing all these bars here, 10 bars. So perhaps, this could just, this is a little light on 10 volume. This only has 3.36 shares. So we got Nutanix here. We actually mapped out a little consolidation, break into this, and we're looking for that. So let's get rid of this junk. And Nutanix here just had a nice little rally above that 5-day, pulled back into this pivot high VWAP. You could see on the 30-minute double bottoms. So it's holding onto these gains here, and this pivot high is starting to act as support. So maybe we could get a little shakeout, get back above these VWAPs, and start to trade back to that 75 area. So perhaps maybe tomorrow we could look for a pullback, get back above the daily and 2-day VWAP, look for the break of 69.70, and then look for a push into 70.84, and then continuation back into the 72.72 and 75.73 path. Path gotten beat up, and it's rallied into this 200-day moving average that was declining. It's rallied into the 200-day moving average that was declining, and it's rallying into this above this 200-day moving average that's declining. So what's inspiring about it is, instead of all the times where it dropped off and it rallied up, data was rising, we have one more rally, and then data starts to drop off. So then we have a nice base and a potential trend alignment on this path. So let's see if we could get maybe a little pullback to the 2-day VWAP tomorrow. Pull back to this 2-day VWAP. Get back above our week-to-date VWAP by Wednesday, and then maybe get back into that 1560, 1542, and then maybe that 16 level. Pro, same concept here. Been a dog, beat up, rallied, failed into the declining 200-day moving average. All of these rallies failed. Now we got a little bit of trend alignment. We're starting to see higher highs and higher lows, but another rally into a declining 200-day moving average. What's different this time? Data on the 200-day moving average will start to drop off. So perhaps if this starts to rally up and we get a quick rally to this area of 30 over the next basically 15 to 27 bars, that 200-day moving average will then start to flatten out. It could start to rise, and then maybe this could get back up into this 32.74 area, ultimately 30.89 area. So we got Zone as well. This one's was hot earlier in the year, had a big pullback. What's inspiring about this one here is, well, let's drop an anchor VWAP to this previous high, see where we're at, sync it up in the layout. So we could see this was been a source of supply. This has been a source of supply since we had this rollover rally to a new low under a flat to declining 5-day moving average, lower lows and lower highs, rally to a new high above a flat to rising 5-day, higher highs and higher lows, right into this source of supply, rallied and failed. So now we're getting a nice flattening base here, and 5-day moving average starting to flatten out and to rise. So on Zone, if this could break above this 1478 area, then perhaps maybe we could have a stop under this 1304, and then this could push into this VWAP, and then we can move that stop up into this 1475 or underneath it, maybe a potential higher low in this 1408 area. SPT, similar setup here, bigger base here. Data on the 200-day moving average will start to drop off and will be at the similar price in 11 bars. So if this could continue to stay tight here, we had a nice shakeout today, rally back above, and a little pullback here. So maybe this could digest a little bit longer and then get back above 33.70 and get back up to this 35.30 area. And again, this 200-day moving average is declining, but just on watch list because it will start to drop off the data on the 200-day. So we'll be equal. So we'll start to flatten out, and then we'll have a potential alignment of multi-trends of the 20-day, 50-day, and 200. We got TENB, and we could see similar setup here under declining 200-day moving average. We are trading, we were trading near price, similar prices a few days ago. But again, this rallies up in 5 bars. And then after those 5 bars in about, you got 43 there. That's a little bit of time, but this could be a potential trend alignment of this 200-day moving average starting to act as support and potential fresh trend alignment. So EMB, we'd like to see shake out. We could see this VWAP held. So maybe just a little bit of an undercut of that VWAP. Pull back into that 41 area, get back above, let it dance, then let it rip. So maybe get something like this, pull back in, and then it's 5-day. Get something like that. Zoom had a really big rally since August low, and it's having some trouble with this VWAP right here from this previous sell-off and rejection. So we could see that this has been a source of supply at this 90 level. And we recently ran up and we're pulling back, holding this year-to-date VWAP low. So same concept as all these software stocks so far. Maybe just a little bit pullback down to this 82. Feel that gap, get back above, let it dance, then feel that push to break this VWAP. And then maybe we could get back up into this 111 VWAP if we pull up the weekly chart. Just get some different colors here. So the next source of supply that we could potentially start to see is that 111.95. Got 107, and then we had that 111.95. But ideally, this is probably a more relevant VWAP of a next supply. It's 134. So maybe we could get up into this 134, and we can start to trade up into these areas, and ideally back up into this 236 from a longer term investment idea. C-scaler. C-scaler on the list here. This was a trade that we took earlier. But anyways, we got last chart here, rally up, holding the 50-day moving average that's flat, a rally to new high above a flat. The 50-day moving average, 20-day moving average is rising. So maybe we pull back into here, dance for a little bit, look for that reclaim of this pivot high. So basically our two-day VWAP. So perhaps maybe we get a little shakeout down into this 190, rally back, recover, and then let it dance like we said, and then let it rip. So shake out, rally back into here, get tight, break above the 5-day, continue into that 211, maybe a stop at 197 to 190. Hopefully this was helpful. Just ran through a whole bunch of software stocks. Ideally, some of these are watch list ideas after a recent rally, and hopefully this was helpful.